Hello, everyone. Welcome to Weird World, the podcast that is weird. This one is actually,
weird.
Judging from the title, a weird world about weird world. Intriguing, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
What?
Carrie's going to lead us.
Here we go. I'm going to tell a story. And our main character... What?
Will I be able to do a timeline?
Yes.
Good. Sweet.
It's a real life story about real life people. And our main character's name is Pauline.
Again, I want to stress we've never done a fictional story about fictional people. So.
We have two.
No.
Yeah,
Fictional,
sure we have.
Yeah.
No.
Creatures and stuff.
Well, yes, but you know what I mean. Not like okay, never mind.
Okay. Our main character's name is Pauline.
Pauline.
She was born in 1965 in Canada. So this is a story from our neighbors to the north.
All right.
Interesting.
2 years later, she had a little brother named Ted, who was born. She didn't have him. Her mother did.
No.
They lived in the Vancouver area. Her parents were Ruth and Warren.
Ruth and Warren. Got it.
There's just a little bit of background on Pauline.
No, I like it.
Warren was 15 years older than Ruth.
Did they have Canucks season tickets? Little sports there, Vancouver.
I don't think so.
No. All right.
Warren was 15 years older than Ruth, and this just happened to be his second family. He had already been married and divorced and had 2 children
Oh, shit.
with his previous wife.
It happens.
Their names were Tom and Linda.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. It's important.
Both of his previous wives, Tom and Linda.
They met when Ruth was a stewardess.
Flight attendant. Thank you.
Well, this was way back in the 60s, so she was a stewardess.
I see. So if we use the N word back in the 19th century, you should still use it now. Is that it? Is that it, Mark Twain? Is that it? I didn't think so. Go along, please.
We're going to cut that out.
Please update your verbiage.
Ruth was a stewardess, and he was a well-to-do, newly divorced investment dealer and director with a securities company. Don't ask me what that is, because I have no idea.
They deal in securities.
Sure, I have no idea what securities are.
Financial instrument.
Yeah, I figure. He flew a lot, for his securities job. And he was very flirtatious with Ruth. And one day he finally asked her out to dinner, which was a big no-no. Stewardesses were not allowed to accept dates with the customers.
But they were allowed to smoke as they walked down the aisle and brought you
Yeah,
food.
they probably were.
So.
They also were not allowed to get married. Or
What?
At
well,
all?
if you got married, you couldn't keep your job.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
because you couldn't be a married teacher either.
The world was a monstrous place.
Oh, wait a second. I lied. You could be a married teacher, but you couldn't have a baby. If you had a baby, you had to quit.
Okay, no, that's fair. But the first part,
Because my mom was a teacher, and she had to quit when she had my brother. And Donna...
in hindsight, he was not worth it.
Hey, Donna, our next-door
That's
neighbor, my godmother, was a stewardess, and she had to quit when she got married.
Damn.
Wow.
We've come a long way, baby.
People are allowed to have jobs now.
Yep.
So.
It's good.
And marriages at the same time. Anyway, Warren was tall and charming, and Ruth wasn't able to resist.
Can I go back?
Yeah.
I just want to say not long enough, though. Hashtag me too. We have not come nearly far enough, but we're doing better.
Thanks, Dean. Okay. He was tall and charming. He took her to nice restaurants where everyone seemed to know him. He was also an alcoholic.
Weren't we all back then?
No, we weren't all back then.
Warren alcoholism. Got it.
His son from his first marriage, Tom, used to say he was a friendly drunk. But with his second family, not so much. He was mean and abusive to Ruth. One night when the kids were still preschoolers, Ruth's father had been visiting. Ruth's mother she died when Ruth was a little girl. So her father was visiting, and Warren came home late, drunk, and then proceeded to drink more with Ruth's father. And when Ruth said that, he'd had enough to drink because he dropped a glass and it shattered all over the floor.
That was not a good call.
Yeah, he flipped out. She said that she and the kids couldn't live like this anymore. And, of course, as men did back in the day, he told her those were his kids And if she tried to leave him and take them, it would only take 2 doctors' signatures to have her committed to a mental institution, and she would never see them again.
Is this 1847?
Apparently.
This was in the 1960s.
And by the way, mean drunks rarely react well to, you've had too much to drink. That's never gonna end
Well, so he took his father's decorative war sword off the wall,
Warren
which
did.
is where you keep your decorative war swords.
Where else would you keep them, Carrie?
And
Under the bed. Don't be ridiculous. It's on the wall, obviously. Go
sure. And raised it above his head, like to hit her.
ahead. Yikes.
She just froze, closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, the sword was stuck in the hardwood floor right next to her.
Oof.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is that a warning or just drunken aim?
Probably just drunken aim.
Okay.
She
She's
turned
lucky.
and she saw her father had been watching the whole thing from the kitchen doorway with a stunned look on his face.
But didn't attempt to intervene.
Didn't even say anything to her. He turned around, went upstairs to the guest room.
Whistling. Didn't say anything. What? Hey, anything go on?
The next morning, when he came down,
Dad?
when her father came down, he came down with a suitcase and left. He was supposed to be visiting for a whole week.
Oh my God.
But didn't take his daughter with him to get away from these sword wielding drunken. Wow.
Nope. So she had issues with her father too. I think he
Yeah.
drank a bit too himself. Anyhow,
So this is the era where women couldn't get pregnant, couldn't get married if they had certain jobs, and their own parents would either take the side of the drunken, mean, abusive, murderous husband, or at least let him, say, hey, it's his wife now.
Yeah, not my daughter. His wife.
probably a fair amount of men would take that attitude. I wouldn't say that all of them would
Okay.
not defend their daughter.
So moms are
Carrie
not all men
standing-
are.
There were some good men in the
I'm
1960s.
not aware of them, but okay.
Well, anyway, Ruth decided finally in 1969 she'd had enough and she was getting a divorce. It was a bitter divorce, dragged on for years. The disputes over, child visitation and support and everything dragged on for almost a decade.
What happened to the 2 doctors and madhouse scenario?
I guess he probably forgot that because that was the threat when he was drunk. He didn't do that. Ruth was granted $800 a month in support as long as she continued to live a chaste life.
Okay, good Lord.
Isn't that some kind of patriarchal bullshit? Could you imagine?
Who's going to check?
Right.
I guess she still have to adhere to it because she'd be worried he's going to hire a PI or something like that, take some pictures of being not chaste or something like that.
Yeah. So anyway, Pauline and Ted continued to live with their mom in the family home in North Vancouver, which was real nice, because their dad was affluent. And strange things started happening.
I hope this is a ghost story.
No ghosts. So they would come home one day and their mother would say, quick kids, take off your shoes
Wait, what?
and go in the bathtub and wash your feet in the bathtub. And then after you get out,
Wait, she'd come home? Or
no,
they'd-
the kids would come
Okay,
home from school.
Okay.
Wash your feet in the bathtub. Take off your shoes. Wash your feet in the bathtub.
Okay, well, what's weird about that?
And then put
My
these plastic bags over your feet.
Okay.
So then they'd have to walk around with bags over their feet. She told them, and then they had to leave. They had to get out of the house.
What?
Well, she told them that the carpets had been cleaned with some kind of harmful chemical, and she didn't want them to get sick.
Oh,
A little bit weird.
okay, yeah.
And they didn't see their dad a whole lot during this time. He continued to drink, and one time they were over at he lived in the bachelor pad apartment.
Damn right he did.
Divorced dads
I'm
always
imagining
do.
mustard carpeting. I'm guessing he had
No, avocado, probably.
Avocado, yes. A
Avocado.
silk shirt buttoned down mid-chest.
Yeah. Definitely
And,
all the chest hair showing.
He had a unit that the balcony looked over the pool.
Well, speaking of the pool,
Okay.
there was a pool,
I wasn't
and
really. Okay.
one time their mom came to pick them up, and she sees the kids, maybe 6 and 4, something like that, in the pool. No dad
Jesus.
anywhere.
Jesus.
So she,
He left Francesca to watch
Get
him,
out
but
of
she
the
needed
pool.
smoke.
No, he was drunk in the apartment.
He left Francesca to watch them, Carrie.
I'm not sure anybody was watching them.
She needed some Pall Malls. He paid $800 to keep the kids away from him, so it's kind of her fault.
Well, around this time, they got these new family friends. Their names.
You kind of just glossed over the whole wash your feet, put bags on them, we have to leave the house kind of thing. So is that the start of the strangeness?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. They made these new family friends. Their names were
Sorry.
Stan and Sybil Sears.
Ooh.
That sounds like some 60s names.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Ruth had
Is there
met.
going to be a fishbowl involved in this story? No.
Ruth had met Stan. He was a minister and a counselor when someone at an Al-Anon meeting recommended him to Ruth as a counselor because she was having a hard time after the divorce, which I didn't know Al-Anon existed way back then.
Oh.
I thought it was a more recent phenomenon.
Are we in, early 70s now?
70s, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I guess it did. So she began seeing...
Wait, Alcoholics Anonymous.
Al-Anon is for...
Is that the same thing?
Al-Anon is for family members of alcoholics.
In Saudi Arabia. Never mind.
Okay.
What?
A few people will get that.
Okay.
So Ruth began seeing Stan Sears as a counselor, and then she took a job as a secretary at the church where he worked.
Okay. This is the swinging 70s. We know what's going to happen here.
Well, that sounds like my grandmother's life, because that's what she did too,
Oops.
except for the counseling.
Well, it still was a swinging 70s.
She divorced an alcoholic and then became a secretary at a church.
Oh.
Interesting,
Cute.
huh?
And then went to fishbowl parties.
Nope.
Oh my God.
Not Grandma Polly. One day, the kids were told, pack a bag, kids. We're going for a sleepover at the Sears house on a school night.
Damn.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Sleepovers are not allowed on a school night, are they, Emma?
No, they're not.
Don't think anywhere.
So after they got there, everybody just seemed a little bit weird, kind of on edge. And, Pauline's a little girl, but she's noticing these things. After she goes to bed, they hear this really strange commotion, and it sounds like it's coming from, down in the basement of the house. Things are getting banged around, and she hears grunting and all kinds of really weird noises.
Are we going to have some satanic sacrifice? I'm
Well,
trying here.
Satanic panic.
I'm pitching some ideas that you might swerve into.
Well, it was kind of scary, and it was loud enough to wake everybody up, and they all, kind of gathered in the hallways of their bedrooms to see what was going on. And the kids were told, everything's fine, nothing's going on. The dog was upset.
Nothing to see here.
The dog
dog.
was upset.
Dog. That's the worst line two grown people having sex have ever told children. The dog's upset. Don't worry about it.
It does sound like it's sex noises, doesn't
It does.
Well, this didn't make any sense to Pauline. And she thought this didn't really explain the noises. But whenever weird things would happen, their mom would say,
The dog was upset all the time.
or just, don't worry about it. I'll explain everything to you later, kind of stuff. I'll tell you when you're older.
Mother, why are you crying? The dog's upset.
The dog is just.
They would also, and, Stan and Sybil Sears were involved in a lot of things. They would take impromptu camping trips, come home from school, pack a bag, we're going camping. And then, they'd go hiking, and then they'd end up in some remote cabin in the woods.
What?
Or, no, we're not going to school today. Come on, we're going to drive 3 hours to go bowling.
What?
And then they go bowling.
Mom, there's 7 bowling alleys closer. I don't understand.
Yeah, on a school day, just weird. I mean, it's fun to skip school and go bowling, but
Sure.
It's weird.
it's very weird and unexplained. And whenever Pauline and her brother would ask, "What the heck, Mom?" she would just say,
I love bowling. And she'd start
Alex-
crying, and she'd say the dog was upset.
"I'll explain when you're older."
I'll explain when you're older. That was
Why
her.
we went bowling.
She got T-shirts that said, I'll explain when you're older.
In 1974, so at this time, Pauline is 9 and Ted is 7.
Wait. I got to do a timeline here. 1974.
Yep.
Pauline
Is 9.
9.
Ted is 7.
Ted's 7.
Remember, they live in North Vancouver.
North Vancouver still.
They're told, "Hey, let's go on a vacation. We're going to go to Winnipeg."
Okay. All
It's
right.
across the whole entire country, isn't it?
Not the whole country.
Oh.
Winnipeg's central Canada.
Pretty far, like 1,000-ish
I
miles.
bet it is, yeah.
It's pretty far. So, hey, we're going to go on vacation. Fun. Going to Winnipeg. When they get there, their mom says, "No, we're moving here. We're never going home."
Ugh. From
And not-
Vancouver to Winnipeg?
Yeah.
No offense, Winnipeg, but that is at least climate-wise, major step down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they couldn't contact any of their friends. Ted's 7. What's he going to do?
Yeah.
But, Pauline had friends and stuff. And so they couldn't contact anybody from Vancouver, including their dad.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Pauline, she's 9. She knows, stuff with her dad wasn't good and that he was an alcoholic and all that kind of stuff. Things were pretty chaotic around the divorce and stuff. So she just figured that her mom was trying to move them away from their dad.
You rescue yourself with the word chaotic in that last sentence because it started out with she figures stuff not good, bad, but stuff chaotic. Never mind, we'll cut that out.
Yeah, because the tape isn't going to be on your side there. I think I said that very
You almost said good.
mellifluously.
Okay, go back.
So anyway, in Winnipeg, Ruth bought a nice fixer-upper house. Actually, it was a mess. It was really a fixer-upper.
She named her house Ginsburg, so we would say Ruth bought a Ginsburg. Sorry,
That's not even cute, Dean.
apologize.
And she got a job at the Provincial Hydro Company.
Ah,
What is
water.
that?
Water?
They make water.
Water.
Or it could be water power, right?
Could be dams.
Hydro. Anyway,
Sure, let's go with that.
Ruth got a job there. And as it would turn out, Stan and Sybil Sears also moved from Vancouver
Interesting.
to Winnipeg at the same time.
So Stan and Sybil.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So he's still with the wife that he's clearly cheating on with the mom at this point. What's the mom's name again?
Ruth.
Ruth.
He's a minister, Dean.
Yeah, like I said, clearly. Is he a youth pastor? It's even
Well,
worse.
so they had already been spending a fair amount of time with Stan and Sybil, and that continued. And Stan basically kind of became their surrogate dad. And in fact, eventually they'll start calling him Papa.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
even more disturbing.
No, it's not. He's a good guy. He's real nice to them. They have a very good relationship. 5 years after the move to Winnipeg, they move again. This time, Ruth,
What, are we in late 1970s or late 70s?
it's 5 years after 1974, so
So
79.
79. Wait, I could do that? Oh. Okay, so they moved
We should
to...
let Emma do that math.
We should have, yes. Wait, let's let her now. Okay, go.
What?
74, 5 years later. What year is it?
79?
Good job. Pittsburgh Pirates win the World Series. We are family becomes the mantra for all America.
This time, though, Ruth told Pauline and Ted that they were moving. Yes.
Where they moved to? Did you tell us?
I didn't tell you.
Oh, sorry.
They were told they were moving, but they couldn't tell anybody. Pauline's 13 by this time, and she finally, had a really good friend, and she was kind of pissed off at her mom that they couldn't tell anybody, because that's how everything had been all along. We're going on vacation, but you can't tell your friends.
Yeah.
We're going out to eat. You can't tell your friends. You can't tell your friends where we're going or what we're doing or even that we're doing anything. And Pauline and Ted always thought it was weird that they had a very strange family and a very strange life. Like, why would their friends care that they were taking a vacation or,
The
who are they going to
secretiveness
tell?
of it, right?
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
strange. I mean, that in hindsight, we kind of blew an opportunity not raising our kids like that, just to inject some
Just to
fake
mess with them.
adventure. Yeah. Just like, oh, kids, you have to keep this a secret. Your life depends on it. And just say whatever.
And
Every time we went somewhere, we could have dressed it up like as a
Yeah.
mission for the CIA. Just went down south to Southern California and visit family and friends. If you tell anyone up here, you'll die.
Well, and Pauline and Ted would have conversations about how abnormal and strange their family life was.
Emma, would you have preferred it had we, every time we traveled somewhere, we told you it was for a secret mission and that you couldn't tell anyone about it? Wouldn't that have been cool?
That probably would have been cool when I was really little and like imaginative. But once I hit probably 10, I would have not liked it.
Also, there's no way you would have kept that secret. You would have told Geneva
That's
the
true.
second we told you
Immediately, yeah.
where
Yeah.
we were going.
We're
Like my
secret
parents are
agents.
spies. Did you
Worst
know that?
secret agent ever. We're going to start now, see if it takes. It's not too late.
Well, so this time when they were moving and her mom said, you can't tell anybody, she just happened to be having a sleepover with her best friend. And could you imagine being 13? You can't tell your friend.
No.
And her mom said, and when I pick you up in the morning, we're getting in the car and that's when we're
Wow.
leaving. So
They're-
no teary long goodbye. You
They're
just
still in Winnipeg at this point?
yeah, you
Was
just
her-
got to
My
say so
God.
long, like I'll see you when we get back, kind of thing.
And her best friend's name was Peggy, so she had to say goodbye to Winnipeggy, her very close friend.
So weird.
You guys did that in time. That was frightening.
So anyway, Pauline actually did tell her best friend,
Oh,
but she told her that my mom is really secretive about this stuff, and I'm not supposed to tell anybody. So
Pauline told Peggy.
when we say goodbye tomorrow, you please act like it's no big deal, and I'll
okay.
try to write you. Wow. Yeah.
That would, think about that, telling a kid, I'm picking you up tomorrow morning. You just
Yeah.
found out right now tonight we are leaving the city you've lived in for 5 years, never coming back.
Yep.
Insane.
Well, and I didn't write this down, but actually I got a lot of this, and we'll put it in the
Show
the
notes.
notes of my sources. But Pauline actually has written a book, and it's quite a bestseller in Canada, I believe. I think it's called Run, Hide, Repeat.
Run, hide, repeat.
And
I like it.
And in the book, she tells about how when I think she was about 11, so it was after they moved to Winnipeg, she suffered from like little kid depression.
Aw.
And she literally couldn't go to school. Which we've experienced this in our little household of, a kid just can't go to school. And
Was me.
so like the first day, it's like, okay, you can stay home. And then, so she had to go to work with her mom. And then the second day, it's like, she'd try to get up and, her mom would try to take her to school and she'd be bawling in the car, refusing to get out. And so the mom, okay. So, she'd take her to work again.
And then 11th grade rolls around. And it's a
But this
problem.
is amazing because of the time when it was. And this is like, yay, Canada, because this never would have happened in the US of A, where somebody must have mentioned to her mother, why don't you take her to see a counselor or to see a child psychologist or whatever? So she did, and this child psychologist basically, she gave her therapy and everything, but she basically told her, okay, you're not right, you don't have to go to school. She didn't go to school for 6 months. Instead,
Jesus.
every day, because the mom had to do something with her because she was a single mother working, so every day she would go to work with this child psychologist, and they would give her little jobs to do. They had a tutor for her there so she could keep doing her schoolwork.
Why was this not available for me?
Oh, I thought this was just amazingly wonderful in the 70s.
They get Emma, a fashion designer, who takes her to work. And
No, I
in
honestly take
Winnipeg.
to child psychologist. I would love that shit.
Well, you did a stint in the
Madhouse.
office of the middle school.
I did spend a lot of my days in the office.
Did they ever put you to work?
Yeah, I answered
God.
phones and shit.
She made
Wrote
a
slips.
lot of wallets for the Thailand market.
So anyhow, this little treatment thing worked, and she worked her way through this depression, and then she
Little kid depression, as you called it.
yeah, because she was 11, and then I think she didn't end up that, or maybe she went back to school like right at the end of the school year, and then right after that was middle school, so she
New-
could kind
new
of
people.
start over,
Yeah,
and
I
then
hear
she
you.
made this wonderful friend, which I feel bad that I forget her friend's name, but
Where were they living at that
this
point?
was Winnipeg.
Oh, so no, it's not Winnipeggy. It's a different friend.
No, then she met this friend.
Winnipeggy.
Well,
Her name is Peggy.
Yeah,
really.
her
We've
name is
established
Peggy
it is
Sue.
Peggy.
No,
But
it's
so anyway,
Peggy.
so I thought that was nice. Good job, Canada.
Yeah, Canada. Thank you, Pierre Elliott Trudeau.
So anyway, they're told they could, they're moving this
think.
time. They go pick up Pauline from her friend's sleepover, get in the car, and off they go from Winnipeg to St. John, New Brunswick.
St. John, New Brunswick.
Where's that?
That's the far east.
So now this is
The
clear on the
Maritime
other side of it.
provinces, as they call them. Yes.
Yep.
So it's still
Okay.
Canada?
Yeah, it is
yeah.
Canada. But even further away from her father,
Oh,
it
yeah.
seems.
Now they are completely across the country.
Wow.
It's like going from L.A. to Maine, kind of here,
Yeah.
with a stop in, I want to say, Minneapolis.
Okay. It's a
So-
good visual analogy.
And then, don't you know, Stan and Sybil moved to New Brunswick as well.
Less of a coincidence, more of a either stalking or an arrangement.
Yeah.
It is coincidental, and Pauline
It's not.
thinks it's
purposeful.
a little bit weird.
A little bit.
And
Now she's
actually-
now, what'd you say, 13,
13.
14? So, yeah.
Actually, Pauline and Sybil have a really good relationship. They, when they take off on their little impromptu hiking trips or camping trips, the two families, she and Pauline, they're both avid swimmers. So, they go off and find a place to
Well.
go swimming. And
At least one of Sybil's personalities was an avid swimmer. The other is not so much.
so anyway, it sounds like Stan and Sybil were very nice friends
I'm
to
sure
have.
they're very nice friends.
Yes. So, this was their last move. They stay in New Brunswick. Pauline finishes high school and then goes to college and then begins a job as a journalist.
Oh, good for you.
She's a journalist. She starts dating. She meets a guy. They get engaged. She buys a house.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell what kind of dates they liked.
Nope.
They like beaches and movies and
Well,
Freezing beaches.
she's become
first
an
thing that popped
adult.
in my head.
And then one day in February of 1988,
Oh, hold on. I got a timeline going. February 1988. Got
Pauline
it.
is 23 years old.
Pauline, 23.
Because I know that's your next question.
It is.
Ruth, I think Ruth is living in Halifax now,
Okay.
which is also the Maritimes.
Yes.
And
I think, is that Newfoundland? I don't remember.
Nova Scotia, isn't it?
Is it Nova Scotia? Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And Pauline is still in St. John. And so Ruth calls Pauline and asks her to meet somewhere kind of like halfway in between where they live, because I think they're a couple hours away from each other. And she says she's finally going to explain all the weird things their family did while Pauline was growing up. So they meet at a service station in Sussex. And Pauline parks her car and she gets into her mother's car. Her mother was acting a little bit strange. She kind of went to hug her, and her mom was just being weird. She handed her a note and an envelope. The note read, "Don't say anything. Take your jewelry off. Put it in the envelope. I'll explain when we get where we're going."
We so have to do this to one of our kids.
Just one of them.
Well, it can't be Emma.
Damn it.
So her
He
mom...
would be the one to like fall for it. Like, damn
Nuh-uh,
it.
Rachel.
Yeah, probably Rachel. Oh my God, we can totally do this to Rachel. Meet us in Fresno. We have something to tell you.
Rachel listens to the podcast, so...
Damn it.
Anyway, so her mom drives to a motel and, parks, get out. They go into, her mom had already rented a motel room. So they go into this motel room, and Pauline's like a little bit freaked out about this is very cloak and dagger. And she notices that it's the kind of motel room where there's a door to an adjoining room. And all of a sudden, which those doors are always creepy to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, who's in that other room?
What's the point of that? It's not a good thing.
Well, so you can have a room for your kids or your
go out
mother-in-law.
your door into their door, and so you never have to have a situation where two strange people have a door between them.
Yeah, but if you have
it's not
kids, it's
locked
good. If you
enough.
have kids, then both doors are open.
I
You
know,
leave the door
that's
open.
a terrible idea.
Anyway, the adjoining door suddenly opened, and in walked a man.
Yes.
Stan.
Sears. She was happy to see him
Sure.
because
Dada.
it had been a little while since she'd seen him, but she was super confused as to why he was there. She hadn't seen him in years. It turns out Stan and Sybil only lived in New Brunswick for a couple of years, after they all moved there, and then they moved back out west.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so she hadn't seen him since she was a teenager. Okay. So they sat down to explain to Pauline all the strange things that had happened in her life as she was growing up.
Dun, dun, dun.
Her mother told her that when she and her father were going through a divorce, she was suicidal, that she had actually contemplated overdosing herself, Pauline, and Ted.
Wow.
Oh, my
You know
God.
what? That's not something you ever admit to your
No.
children.
I might have omitted that.
Good Lord.
I thought about
actually
killing you.
filled up the bathtub for you kids.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Don't go there. But she said she couldn't, because she couldn't imagine leaving them without a mother, because she didn't want to leave them with their father. So it's that old tale.
Yeah.
Better off dead.
Tails all the time.
Yes. So it was at
Yeah, that's
that.
never a good excuse. You know what? Go ahead and leave your kids.
Somebody will
without
take care of
parents.
them.
Yeah, don't worry
I
about
know.
them. They'll be fine.
Don't murder them.
Don't.
Well, she pretty
We're
much.
anti-child murder.
Yes,
on this
we are.
podcast here.
It's a brave position to take. I
It's
know. She pretty much grew up without a mother, and
Pauline?
no,
Ruth.
Ruth.
Oh, Ruth.
And had a pretty difficult childhood and stuff. And Pauline does go into some of that in the book. So that is a little bit of background, which,
Okay.
still, I don't think I would kill my children.
No.
And
Good.
Ruth
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you
didn't.
say that.
And in Ruth's defense, she clearly suffering from depression.
Yeah.
And we know what happens when you're suffering from depression. But that was at this time that she went to Stan for counseling. And so clearly, Stan helped her.
Yeah. Helped her with her clothes off.
So Stan told her that he had begun counseling a man who was an alcoholic and was trying to dry out. He was part of an organized crime syndicate, the Mafia.
Oh, shit.
The Canadian mafia, very polite mafia that asked to kill you.
Well, he was ashamed for
Says,
what he'd
"Oh,
done.
Thank you.
And
Sorry.
he regretted his time in the Mafia. And he talked about some of his crimes and he wanted to be forgiven.
Sorry, we have to ice you, don't you know?
This man didn't finish his counseling because he was assassinated by the mob.
Ice pick.
But, his associates had noticed a change in his behavior and they were suspicious. So they followed him and found out that he was talking to Stan. And they
shit.
assumed that he was divulging secrets about their operations
This
to Stan.
might have been the impetus for Sopranos.
Could be.
Possibly in some way.
And so they assumed that Stan knew too much also.
Well,
So
sure.
they had to take out the guy, but now Stan was a target too. And apparently Pauline's father, Warren, was also involved with the
Why
mafia.
wouldn't he be?
That's why he had so much money
Sure.
and stuff.
Ah,
And that wasn't so outlandish to her because she knew growing up that her mom had suspicions about her dad's business dealings because there was stuff that her mom had said over the
wait,
years.
he wasn't security. That was, oh, he was the securities guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before the divorce, one of the suspicious things was before the divorce, they had this custom-made chair in their house, and they had a really nice house. And
As only a mobster would.
but he would just like come home with luxurious stuff, or he'd come home with a brand new car that he paid cash for,
Yeah.
or he'd come home and say, I bought a vacation cottage, somewhere.
Her logic is rock solid.
Very
Yes.
weird.
People
yes.
with money who can buy things
Are
on a
in the
whim
mafia.
are
Yes.
mafia.
Well, so they had this custom-made chair, and her mom found some papers hidden inside the chair that it must have like a list or a ledger or something, I don't know, but with money laundering businesses with names and account numbers. So her father was involved in money laundering. He had also, when her mom was pregnant with her little brother Ted, her dad had offered to fly her and a nurse in a private plane to Mexico so that she could have the baby in Mexico so that
So
he,
to be a Mexican citizen, that seems like it's the
Yes.
opposite.
So he would have dual citizenship so he could eventually put businesses in Ted's name in Mexico.
Oh,
I don't know what the advantage to that is.
yeah. I don't know.
Money laundering businesses, drug trafficking
Maybe.
businesses that you incorporate.
Yeah.
Put in
A lot of people
something.
incorporate their
Yeah,
I don't
cocaine.
know.
obviously.
Weird.
Cartel.
Well,
We are the cartel incorporated.
So Warren had worked or was working with the mob. Stan knew too much because of the guy he counseled who was working for the mob. And then Ruth was working for Stan, and she was the ex-wife of the mobster, Warren. So she was now a target of the mob because they assumed that she and Stan knew too much and that they were possibly working with the authorities to bring down the mob.
If this is how the mob operated, there'd be no one left alive. I mean,
Exactly.
anybody. Who did you talk to today? Kill him.
Well,
The teacher. The kids talk to the teacher. Kill the teacher too.
Well, they were being watched. And the mafia was trying to figure out what was going on. But so they were all targets,
Sure,
including the kids. Ruth told her that
that's what we can tell our kids. We've been in witness protection their entire lives, and we can just make up names. Phil and Judy Anderson. That's gonna
Is
be
your real names?
Our real names, yeah.
Interesting.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, because they would pick our new names to be what they are.
Carrie and Dean.
Yes, they would, Carrie. Can't be too obvious.
Anyway, excuse me. I'm going to cut that
Okay,
out.
Veronica. I mean, Carrie.
I thought it was
Julie.
What was our name?
We've had many
I forgot the
aliases,
names
Carrie.
already.
All right.
Well, Ruth told her that early on in all this saga, she and Stan were traveling to a meeting at another church. And on the way, they noticed this car following them and basically started chasing them. They ended up at the end of a road. So now the two cars were facing each other.
Yeah.
And she could see two men in the car with guns.
No.
So this convinced her that what Stan had told her about them being targets of the mafia was true.
Absolutely. And the two men with the guns did nothing because she's alive. So
Well,
what happened there? Worst
Stan
hitman ever.
did some quick thinking and got them out of there. I don't know. So Stan told her that they both told Pauline that there were security people around them who were protecting them. So Ted and Pauline have people dedicated to them that kind of follow them and watch them and keep them safe.
Kind of like Baron Trump.
Isn't that nice? Well,
He's still not completely sure what those men in the dark suits are doing
I don't think
in his
so,
classroom.
no.
Sorry,
it is
let's not make
a
fun of
government-funded organization. There's an anti-organized crime task force that was paid for by the government, but it was a secret.
Oh.
It was only known to the Privy Council. And this is the day I found out that Canada has a Privy Council.
What's a privy council?
It's a council where they only go to outhouses to go to the
The
bathroom.
only time I ever heard
Wait.
of Privy Councils was like Queen Elizabeth I.
Yeah.
The fuck
Sure, who doesn't
is
have
it?
a privy council? Everybody has a privy council. Okay, we have a privy council here in the United States, as far as you know.
No, we don't.
It's like advisors, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
The
Yeah.
private that
Well,
know
they're-
all the deep, dark secrets.
They are privy to lots of different secrets.
Well, so the Privy Council knows about this, but like, you
No.
know, the normal government and workers and police and all that kind of stuff.
The prime minister? One would think.
I would think the Prime Minister would know about it, but just him.
Otherwise,
and the
we're
Privy
talking
Council.
Big conspiracy. Did you look at Privy Council?
Yeah, it's
It's too complicated to read.
no, it's just a body that advises the head of state of a nation, typically, but not always, in the context of a monarch
Yeah.
government.
Yeah, which is why I thought it was an
The
old.
word privy means
Well-
private or secret.
Yeah, I thought it was outdated.
I'm just speculating here, but if Canada still has a Privy Council, it has no any power any way whatsoever because the Queen is no longer their head of state. So-
Yeah. Well, she wasn't in the 70s either.
No, exactly. So there's-
Lord President is Jacob Rees-Mogg in England.
Jacob, who's got a monocle. I'm they didn't.
Well,
the
if
Privy Council wouldn't have been the body that had this secret knowledge
yeah.
and power.
Well, if you're Canadian,
Yeah.
you know.
What the fuck's a Privy Council? What do they do?
You'll
Do
still
they any
have one. Tell us
power?
about your Privy Council.
And would they have run this operation here to save people from the mob?
Well, so anyway, Pauline thought this was nuts. She didn't believe it. She thought it must be a joke. But they tried to convince her by providing answers for all of the unexplained events in her life.
Like the whole
These-
foot washing thing.
These were the two people she trusted most. Obviously, her mother and Stan. And she couldn't figure out what was there for them to gain if it wasn't real. Right? Nothing. And trust was always one of her mother's main things. And, you know, she would tell them growing up, like, you can make mistakes. That's normal, you know, and if you do, I'll still love you, but just don't lie.
And just put the fucking plastic bags on your feet.
Well, yeah. They told her that, you know, as part of this government-funded security network, there were secret communities in remote areas throughout the country, kind of like an alternative prison for people arrested for organized crime. activities.
Alternative prison. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that they weren't tried in the normal court system. They were tried by military tribunals. And these secret communities were referred to as the Weird World.
Ah,
shit.
This is
hence
the
the
Weird
title.
World. And there was one in a remote area of British Columbia called Place of Hope.
Place of Hope. So you said alternative prisons, but they
Yes.
wouldn't be in prison because they didn't commit a crime. They just need protection from bad people, right?
Well,
It's more
are
of
you
a witness-
talking about Stan and Pauline?
Yeah.
Well, correct, but they did have like locked facilities for people, organized crime people,
Oh.
that they
Oh.
would take there, and they were tried by a military tribunal instead of the regular courts,
So-
and they were taken to these secret prisons.
So Canada had a bunch of Guantanamos all over the country in the 70s.
Yep.
All right.
And they would even take people there who like low level organized crime people who,
Guido, who didn't quite make the cut, but he was helpful around the restaurant.
you know, like they would catch people like staking out their Ruth and Pauline's house or whatever. And so low level organized crime goons or whatever who
Goons. Okay.
who lots of times they're strung out, they're desperate, they're they're not the masterminds, they're not going to kill anybody, so they get caught by the Privy Council security forces
Sure.
or whatever they're called. They do have names, but the organized crime is the O.
Yeah, sure.
And so they're caught, they're taken to
Weird Worlds.
a Weird World place, and they're locked up for a while, and sometimes they kind of reform. They feel bad because if they're addicted to drugs or whatever, they can detox, and then they're given a job
in that place?
Yeah. So a lot of people live in a place of hope, and they're like reformed criminals.
So everybody, the tailor, the restaurateur, they're all actually reformed criminals in a quasi prison.
Yeah.
This would be a series.
Or they're part of the security people
Yes.
who work there.
And they pretend like they're the newspaper guy and the teacher and the principal.
Well, I don't know that they pretend.
Carrie,
but,
just let me run with it.
I like where you're going.
Okay.
And so, like the little goon guy that I talked about, he has to stay there because if he goes back to the real world, he's going to be targeted by the mafia.
Yeah.
So now it's for his protection too.
Yep.
Originally, he was basically a criminal and a prisoner, but if he reforms and feels good about stuff again, he still can't leave because he don't want to get killed by the O.
So once you go to the weird world, you ain't coming back.
Well, Stan, as a matter of fact, was living in Place of Hope, and he was helping to run it. So he was a bigwig
He was posing as a minister.
in the weird world, and he was doing a lot of counseling for the goons,
For goons,
caught up
yeah.
through no fault of their own, or maybe a little fault of their own.
Yeah, they were goons.
But so he was living there, and so he was allowed to leave and come because
I would hope so.
he would come and visit Ruth, and he was out now telling
it's
all
not
of this to
Walmart.
Pauline.
It's not Amazon. It's not an Amazon warehouse. He was allowed to leave, unlike the Amazon
Not
warehouse.
trapped forever.
Well, so they explained to Pauline that Sybil knew everything about them being targets of the mafia, because she was running with them when they had to leave on a dime and go
Winnipeg.
camping or bowling 3 hours away or
Yeah.
whatever. But
Okay, that's the thing. We got to get out of town for 3 hours. We go bowling 3 hours away. That's weird.
well, it wasn't we got to be gone for 3 hours. It's they got word that the bad guys were coming to get them. So get out of the house. Be gone for a long time.
Think about that.
So the good guys could go get the bad guys.
But stay there for a number of more years in that same house where they can just come the next day. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad Pauline did not believe this.
So they said Sybil knew all of this stuff, but she didn't want to live. She didn't want to go into the weird world and live in Place of Hope with Stan. So they were separated. He'd bought her a house on, back in Vancouver or in the West, whatever, I assume Vancouver. And she was happy. And Ruth and Stan didn't want to tell her, but they were in love.
Oh Oh, shocker.
Yeah.
because they didn't want to hurt her.
I'm sure.
What about
She
Sybil?
was not shocked by that.
That's who I'm talking about.
Oh.
They
What?
didn't-
I thought about
Oh, I
Pauline.
thought Pauline, yeah. They
Thought you
told
meant-
They're telling Pauline now.
Oh, okay.
But, so Pauline probably said, "What the fuck, Stan? You're married. What about Sybil?"
Oh,
And
gotcha.
they
I don't think
said,
Pauline talked like that.
Sybil didn't want to go to the weird world. She's happy in
Sybil didn't wanna go
Vancouver.
to
I
the-
bought her a
okay.
house.
Oh, I thought you were talking
She's
about Ruth.
good, but we don't want to tell her we're in love because we don't. There's no
Gotcha.
reason to hurt her.
Gotcha. So she accepted the permanent separation from her husband. That was okay because she didn't want to go live in weird world where
Correct.
he was living. Okay. All right.
You get it now?
I do.
So now that Stan and Ruth could be together because they got Sybil out of the way,
Yeah.
Ruth decided she's going to go inside and live in the weird world with Stan so they could finally be together. So they spend the whole weekend, telling Pauline all of this stuff. And, they explain, "Oh, I didn't tell you about this earlier, but one day when the kids came home, they saw their mom throwing out all of the food in the refrigerator, putting it into plastic garbage bags, everything, even like the ketchup and the mustard, things that, are a little bit less perishable and don't go bad if the power goes out for a little while."
Yeah.
Mustard is bad from the minute it's made.
And the mom
God.
told them, well, the food went bad. So I have to throw everything
Mom,
out.
it's beef jerky and canned soup.
I think it's fine.
Well, they said the reason why she had to do that is because someone tipped them off that there was poison
Yep.
in the food and she didn't know what had been poisoned. So she had to throw everything
Those
out.
Bond villain mobsters keep on trying
Yeah.
rather than just whack them.
Rather than just shoot them.
Just shoot them.
Same. You guys sound skeptical.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Same thing with the chemicals on the carpet incident.
Oh.
Yep. Somebody had
Poured.
poisoned their carpet.
Carrie, that's a common mob method.
Yeah, everyone knows that
Yeah.
they do that.
It makes you itch your feet, and you itch your feet so hard they start to bleed, and slowly over when you go to bed, you bleed to death. It's been done. Don't worry about it.
I think it's just poison that leaches up into your system through the soles of your feet.
Oh, yeah. Or that.
Yeah.
There's two ways.
So anyway, and all those little unexpected hiking and camping trips, they had to lay low because there was a threat. And the security people had to come in and make sure clear the area, make sure everything was
so the
okay.
security people always know every single time knew when there's a threat, so they have them
chatter. They hear
constantly
the chatter. I don't know.
surveilled, and then
Yes.
they said just go ahead and leave for a few hours and you'll be fine.
Well, I'll tell you something about that in a minute.
Okay.
One time when they took a hiking trip and ended up at a remote cabin and ended up staying there, it was because Stan had gotten word that there was a carload of men heading from the airport to their house with an order to make Ruth disappear.
No.
Yep. The night of the sleepover at the
Like
Sears.
you mean like magic? Like they're magicians and they'll bring her back, but
No.
much worse.
I mean, like disappear forever.
Oh no.
The night of the sleepover with the strange sounds coming from the basement
Oh,
that you assume
Oh,
was a
shit.
sex orgy.
Yeah, I do.
That was the night that the Cosa Nostra came for them.
Oh, that's why the dog was so sad.
Stan had said they had to be together that night. That's why the sleepover, so that their coverage could double up.
Okay.
Because, the Cosa Nostra is
Yeah.
extra skilled.
Damn right they are.
And the noises that they heard, it was a lethal fight in the basement.
No.
The bad guys came in heavily armed through the basement windows, and a fight ensued.
Fist fight. Everyone's armed, but they had a fist fight.
Their security lost one man, but the bad guys lost two.
So we won.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
By
And
rules of fighting,
Yes.
they had to leave.
Per Vietnam War rules.
so the
we won.
reason why the Cosa Nostra was after them, Stan gave an involved explanation about money laundering businesses with links to the Italian mob, and some things set up in her mother's name a long time ago were set up a long time ago. So
they're
that's
they're
why.
just helping out their friends in the Canadian mob.
Yeah.
They do favors for each other.
Yeah.
The mobs are notoriously really chummy with each other.
They're
So
cooperative.
So you talked about you got to be gone for a few hours and then
Yeah.
come back kind of thing. Well, Stan had a communication device.
Ah.
So he could get messages from the O.
The
Oh, no,
O,
the O
yeah.
is the bad guys.
Yeah. It's
From
organized crime.
he would get messages from the good guys.
G.
It was, I forget what, I don't remember what it was called.
Look
but
up G.
it was this device in the lining of his wallet that would
the lining of his wallet.
it would send out more Morse code. I don't know why I can't say Morse.
It's more Morse code.
Morse
it's
code.
Canadian Morse code. They said they have 3 M's. It's Morse code.
Morse code messages. So, his wallet would be in his back pocket and he'd feel it and he'd say, and he always carried around a little notepad and it would be dots and dashes and he would have to translate the Morse code into the message.
Mom put poison on carpet. Oh my God.
shit.
I'll tell her right now to have her kids wash her feet, put plastic baggies on them.
And so he wanted to know if they could put a tracking device on her car so that, her security detail would know where she was if she needed help and if she was in
convenient.
trouble. And it would make it easier for them to protect her. He also wanted to give her a little radio device, and he showed her how to set it to receive and transmit messages.
So he made her wear a bug that he could listen to. He's brilliant. This guy's a genius. Sorry, I'm being suspicious.
Yeah, no, there wasn't any listening device.
You sure about that?
Yeah. It was probably a Radio Shack walkie-talkie. And
That he turned into a listen to. Okay, he's a spy.
But she was only to transmit if she was really in danger and needed to call for help. And he warned her that it was only if her life was in danger, because if she used it, people would come and risk their lives to protect her.
Wow. So it's not like a Karen. If the manager will not make good her meal, she should not use it for that.
Correct.
Okay.
So
But her steak was really rare, Carrie.
if you could imagine, Pauline was overwhelmed by all of this. And
Whelmed.
at this point, she decided to believe it.
Really? Mm-hmm. Pauline.
Well, think about it. These are the 2 most trusted people in your life. As far as you know, your mother's never lied to you, except when she said, I'll tell you when you're older. And now she's telling her when she's older.
So she never liked her.
Correct.
Except for now, this entire story, everything that's come out of her mouth in the last 6 hours.
Well, Ted had already moved back to Vancouver. And actually, for some period of time, he lived with their father. So he was there, not around. So they didn't tell him any of this. Pauline, like I said, she was a reporter for a newspaper in St. John. She was engaged and, they had bought that house. And she went back, but she was told she can't tell her fiance any of this. She can't tell anybody.
Oh my God.
So she's feeling pretty freaked out. She felt isolated and like her work doesn't matter anymore because, the mob is after her and
The mob.
Yeah. And she was kind of having problems with her fiance already.
Her work on the St. John's Weekly Advertiser didn't matter.
No.
That's...
Yeah. All the silly little stories that she was working on
Carrie,
just seemed very insignificant now in her life.
But Mrs. Johnson was able to get a good deal on sliced bread. Those stories are important.
That's
Sorry.
pretty dismissive, Dean.
It is very dismissive of local journalism.
So anyway,
Rightfully.
she started looking at everybody around her, looking to see if cars are following her. She was afraid to go out at night. One evening she was making dinner or whatever, and she needed an ingredient, and the store was like literally a block away and across the street, and she was afraid to walk a block. She did, but she was afraid the whole time.
She's bought it.
Yes. And she said she also felt like she was going to lose her mother at any minute. Her mom would go into the weird world with Stan. And so all of this, like I said, put a strain on her relationship. And she ended up breaking up with her fiance. And I think Stan periodically would come and visit and, she would visit with him and stuff. And so finally she decided, why not? I'll go inside with Mom and Stan too. She figured if it's not real, if I agree to go and it's not real, I'll never have to go, right?
Yeah.
If I agree to go and it is real
Free cottage.
and I go,
Right? They'll set her up.
then I'm in danger and I need to be there,
True.
right?
True.
So that's her logic.
It's like believing in God.
Correct.
You've covered your bases.
Yep.
And if you're wrong,
Nothing
no
bad's
worse.
gonna happen.
Nope.
And Stan did tell her that they were building a a little cottage for him and her mom, and that if she wanted to, they would build one for her too.
See?
They even had her look at carpet samples and all
not
that
not
kind of
poisonous
stuff.
carpet samples, I hope.
No.
Okay.
Also, to help convince her, Ruth and Stan would bring Pauline letters from people in the weird world. And they were from people she knew. The first letters she got were from her half-brother and half-sister, Tom and Linda.
Oh, shit.
God, Tom and Linda.
I
Forgot about Tom and Linda.
Tom and Linda.
They were in the
Yeah.
weird world.
Signed, Tom and Linda.
Apparently, Tom and Linda had been working with the mob.
Wait, what?
And they had been arrested, and they were now inside. First in the prison part of the weird world, but they came around and saw the error of their ways.
I was hoping Tom and Linda were there because they were being protected.
Yeah.
But they're...
Nope, they regretted what they'd done.
That's good.
But they were also victims in a way because of their dad, right?
Yeah, he got him into it. It's kind of like how I got you kids into smoking.
Yeah, totally.
Well, Stan said that Linda had been arrested for running a prostitution ring and recruiting new girls, which is a
Jesus.
bad thing
That's
to
pretty
do.
bad, yeah. That's
And that her brother Tom had been involved in drug trafficking, money laundering, and strong arm stuff.
stroke. Okay.
And he was addicted to drugs. And when he was arrested, he was strung out and violent and everything. But over time, they became reformed and they were happy living and working in the real world. Linda was there working as a nurse, and her brother Tom was working in electronics. He was probably making bugs
Cool.
and receivers and transmitters and car tracking
Here
devices.
he worked at Radio Shack. Just let's be. Tried to sell the Tandy 1000.
Other letters were from people from her childhood that she couldn't even remember or that she had forgotten about.
They're all living in Word World?
Yes.
Really? Every friend you ever had lives in Word World.
Some letters were she got some letters from her godparents who
Tom and Donna?
were asking for forgiveness for their involvement in terrorizing her over the years. So her godparents, they must have been friends of her dad's or something.
okay.
And so, yeah, so they were also involved with the mafia.
Sure.
But they regretted.
And did they all these letters have the same handwriting? And did it look like Stan's?
No. In
No?
fact,
Okay.
some were written in cursive, some were written in printing, and some were even typed.
Oh, well,
Very
isn't that
strange.
convenient?
She says that like, well, there. See?
There you go.
Asshole for being suspicious. They were typed. How do
Well,
you fake that?
This created an issue for Pauline because if Tom and Linda were in the weird world,
Yeah.
what about the people that she had seen over the years that she's seen Tom and Linda.
Oh, yeah,
They're
yeah,
her
yeah.
half brother and half sister.
Well, they get like day trip passes kind of a thing.
She'd
maybe?
been to Vancouver
Furloughs?
and visited her father and seen them, and she'd seen her godparents. Well, Ted was living in Vancouver and regularly golfed with their half brother Tom, and she knew this. And he'd seen Linda even more often than she did because Linda was living somewhere else when she would go visit their father. She was married. She had children. Weird.
Stan might have gone a little too far in the
Nope.
detail.
A little bit.
That was easy.
Oh,
Stan could explain
Okay,
that.
all right.
They were doubles.
Oh, yeah.
You know how
what?
Winston Churchill had a double during
Sure,
the war?
sure.
And
We've all had doubles.
You know, Melania has a double.
Melania has a
course.
double?
Of course, Melania. Where have you been?
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Here, but I didn't know she had a
Hillary
double.
Clinton has a double.
Who does?
Hillary Clinton.
What? I think these are just impersonators you're thinking of here. They're not technically doubles.
No.
Yeah, Carrie, Alec Baldwin is not Donald Trump's double. I don't know if you may
sure?
think
Most of the
that.
time when you see photos of Melania and Donald, it's her double.
Something's happening. This is not true.
You need to look at the internet more often, Dean.
Damn it. I'm getting behind on my conspiracy theories.
And this was hard for her to believe because, some of these people she knew quite well.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
they had weird things. In fact,
Eventually, all of Canada is either living in Word World or doubles for people living in Word World. And that's...
Yeah.
they had gone to her brother's wedding and her father was there and an aunt or whatever. And her father has a weird thing in one of his eyes, like,
It's a
how
moat.
when you have a spot in your eye.
It's a moat.
It is a moat. How do you know that?
This is
Anyway,
the moat in God's eye.
so he has one of those, and so she thought, because he told her this was a double. That wasn't your father. Well, how could they do
could you do
eye?
that?
They
Yeah.
have the technology to inject an artificial mote into anyone's eye. This is not
No,
complicated.
contacts. It's even less complicated than that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know. I was going for
And
the hard answer.
they have they have a team of plastic surgeons, good people, makeup artists with prosthetics and everything. And
What year is this?
They
Is this
get
still the
this-
80s?
this is probably in the 80s. They
Have
get
you seen
these,
what Jason
Bateman?
Jason Momoa
Jason Momoa?
looks like in real life?
Oh, that dumb commercial.
Sorry.
Yes, that's terrible. But anyway, they get these people and they train them for months to mimic these people. And
They're that valuable to
Clearly.
the government, to the Privy Council.
so they're trained to step into other people's lives. It was difficult for me to believe this.
I am impressed with Stan's imagination.
Well, so after this
He could have been a
trip
lawyer.
where he brought the letters for her, then he returned to the weird world while Ruth and Pauline waited to get word back from him that their cottages were ready and they would be joining him. And there would be, usually the delays were because there were threats. If they went inside, quote, all hell would rain down on the people they left behind.
The fuck?
Wait, what? If they went into the weird world?
If Pauline and Ruth
Yeah.
disappear into the real world,
Yeah.
the weird world,
Yeah.
the mafia is going to freak out and then go after their loved ones that they left behind.
But there are tons of people in the weird world.
But they're not
And they
as
haven't-
important,
yeah,
apparently.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
they're very important.
I'm less impressed with Stan's bullshit now. But
So every couple of months, Stan would come and visit. On one weekend, oh yeah, this is funny. It's not funny. One weekend visit with Ruth and Pauline. They go and they spend a weekend at a cozy little motel somewhere, and I don't know what they do. It's weird.
I do.
And
Wait, who does?
Stan and
Yeah.
Ruth and Pauline.
Okay. Let's just say when Pauline goes for walks, I think we know what's going on.
Well, anyway, Stan had received a message probably on his, Morse code wallet about a ship that had drifted into Canadian waters somewhere off of Nova Scotia. And there's a bunch of injured people on the ship in bad shape. And it had apparently, all these people had been kidnapped, and the bad guys, the kidnappers, for some reason abandoned the ship. Maybe because the Coast Guard was after them. I don't
Maybe.
remember. But the people on board were victims whose organs were being harvested.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
And they weren't that far away, wherever they were in their little vacation. They weren't that far away. So the good guys, I don't know what they're called, asked them, do you think you could go help? See if you could help with some of the injured people on board. So they asked, Pauline, would you be willing to go help some of these injured people? And just, sure, let's go see what we can do. So they raced to a drugstore to get all of the, first aid things they could gather. And, they're racing in the car to go save these injured people. Pauline's in the back tearing towels into strips to, make bandages out
Boiling
of and
hot
stuff.
water, as you do.
And before they arrive, Stan receives another message that they're good. They've gotten the people to some hospital or whatever. So they were people that had been drugged and kidnapped and brought on board this ship with doctors in surgical gear ready to harvest their organs, and then just left to die. And some people, there were victims on operating tables with cut open and just left there because the bad guys had to abandon ship real fast.
That's how COVID-19 started. Remember, it started on cruise ships. That was a cover for those were mass organ harvesting operations.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to explain the Shag Harbor USO incident? I hope. Fingers crossed, please. No? Damn it.
Sorry.
Shoot. Because he probably had something, or he at least knew about it.
So, Pauline was all hyped up to go see that, and she didn't get to.
Ah, darn it.
So they were told
She never quite got to see any shit throughout her life.
they were told that they could go visit her brother Ted in Vancouver and tell him what was going on.
That's nice.
Because when they go into the weird world, Ted needs to know why they're gone.
He'll be in danger,
So he
right?
can't
He'll get
go?
killed.
So
Ted can't go?
Well, Ted could go if he wanted to.
But if he doesn't go, right? You said they're going to go after.
Yeah.
Okay. Ted's
So
in
when
trouble.
they told him
Bye, Ted. Sorry.
he was visibly upset.
Yeah, because my mom is crazy, and my sister believes her. This is not a good thing.
And he was warned, don't tell your fiance, but he told her anyway.
Of course.
And he said going inside was never an option for him. He didn't even consider it for a second.
Because he knew it was insane.
And Pauline and Ted couldn't talk about any of this over the phone, after she left and went back home because their phones were probably bugged. And, Ted ends up getting married and his wife has a baby. And Pauline, after they had the baby, Pauline went to visit. And so now they could talk about it. And Ted had actually been given a radio too, like hers, because, he has a security detail keeping him safe too.
Are you 100% sure these aren't bugs?
And
That'd be very clever of Stan if they were.
what would Stan hear? I mean, what would Stan care?
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Keeping tabs on them.
Ted told her, that he was warned, but if you use it, make sure your life really is in danger because, well, he used it.
So Stan said that to Ted.
Yeah.
Wow, Stan's ballsy. He just assumes everybody's going to believe his bullshit. Pauline, yeah, obviously.
Well,
I'm sorry, Ruth, but
so Ted used it, and he said nothing happened.
of course not.
And he had a friend in a police department, and he went to the friend and told the friend, here's this crazy story, and I don't know if it's true or not.
And the friend stopped laughing.
And the friends told him, "That's crazy, man. I don't know what to tell you." And there's no such thing. But
dude, this is a pager. So,
but even if it's real, the police don't know about it.
That's true. They're not on the Privy Council,
yes.
so they're not privy.
So
Exactly.
his policeman friend just dropped it at that, and he thought, he wanted to be told, "Oh, go talk to, maybe if you go talk to this agency or this whatever, they could help you." But his friend had no recommendation, and so it made it less likely for him to believe it, but Stan would have an explanation
I'm
why
sure
his policeman
Remember
friend
when you used it? Yeah. Nothing happened. Did an ice cream truck come down the road later on? Yes. Okay. That
There
was
you
then.
go.
When they saw
There you
you were
go.
safe, they didn't go into operational mode.
Well,
Ted.
And so when Ted told her I used my radio and it didn't work, and I talked to my cop friend, she's starting to think, yeah, gosh, we're a little bit worried about our mom now.
Yeah, and that
kind
whole
of thing.
shit about the doubles we know is bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm
So
starting to
yeah, I mean,
wonder if I'm getting my cottage.
she never 100% believed it, but she really had a hard time believing her mom would lie to her about all this kind of stuff.
100% believe my mom was lying if that's what she told me. Not a problem.
Yep.
Well, I believed my mom was a Russian spy, so I probably would
Yeah,
have thought my
yeah.
mom was one of the bad guys. Well,
That's weird.
Just so you know, you could try all that shit at me. I would absolutely not believe you. I would think you need help.
I
Yeah.
knew you would.
I know how to get you help.
Yeah. Thank you. You get 2 doctors to sign off on my committal
Man,
papers.
if we could still do that, that'd be so.
So great. I know, right?
So one day, after she visited her brother, she came home. She called her mom to say, "Mom, my house was broken into." And her mom said, "Well, hold on. Don't call the police.
Use your device.
Let me check with our friend, and I'll call you back."
Stan?
Stan. Okay. And Pauline knew that Stan was visiting her mom at this
I
time.
bet he was.
So her mom calls her right back and says, "Yes. In fact, 2 people broke into your house looking for certain things, but they were apprehended and they have them in custody. They'd been following her and they had pictures of her in their car." So this was it for Pauline. At this point, she knows that it's all a hoax. Her house wasn't broken into.
She duped.
She
She basically
set her mom up.
Oh my God! She ran a sting operation on her mom. I
Damn.
like that, Pauline.
To see what would happen. So while Stan was still in town, she arranged to have dinner with her mom and Stan. And she needed to get her mom alone. So she said, "Let's go out and grab something for dessert." And when they were out, she told her mom what she did, that her house wasn't broken into. So they could not have apprehended anybody and found pictures of her
She
in
said,
the
"Does
car.
this mean I'm not getting ice cream mochi?"
Her mom was horrified.
Yeah. Well.
But not for the reason you think.
Good. Really?
I know why.
Why?
Why?
She was horrified because Stan told her that, it had been apprehended and it wasn't like Pauline's doing. Like, it was all Stan.
No, she was worried that now that Pauline didn't believe it, she wouldn't be careful and she would do risky things and she would be in danger.
So she feels bad that Pauline doesn't understand the truth.
Yes.
That's so clear.
The severity of the situation.
They went back and told Stan. And he said, there must be some explanation. He would, let them know and there'd be an investigation. And
Somebody's getting fired over this.
Yeah, there must have been a mix-up, blah, 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 blah. She said he never got angry. He just seemed to react with sadness. Like sadness that she didn't believe it anymore. Kind of
Like,
thing.
finally, they're seeing through my bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
So, not Ruth. Ruth still believed it. So Pauline cuts off contact with Stan at this point, but not with her mother. She still has a relationship with her mother. Things are a little bit strained, but, kind of as long as they don't talk about it. They don't talk about Stan.
How about the Leafs?
So
Having a
years
nice
go
year.
by, and Stan is still on the inside, and Ruth's move is still being delayed.
Jesus.
Ruth never moves to the weird world with Stan.
And Ruth continues to believe it.
Yes,
Jeez.
she always believed it. And in fact, Stan and Sybil were still living together.
What?
Out in the
Stan is
West.
a genius.
He would make excuses to Sybil about why he had to leave and go back east as a minister.
Yeah.
Or,
sure, Sure.
and he
Ministers travel a lot.
going to visit Ruth.
Ministers and securities.
And Sybil had no idea.
So basically, Stan had a mistress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
Stan had-
decades.
Stan had
Decades.
2 families,
Yeah.
basically.
That's what I
because-
mean.
Yeah.
He is a legend among bullshitters.
So
He did all this to sleep with Ruth.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
And maintain control
and
over her.
and did this for years.
Yeah.
Pauline went to work for the CBC radio in Halifax, and she got married and had 2 daughters and was able to have a nice relationship with her mother, especially after her daughters were born, because then, you have something in common that you both love, kind of thing.
Grand.
Uh-huh.
Like Lily.
And it had been a long time since Ruth had seen Stan. He stopped coming as often as he was, and she would get an occasional letter. Then in 1996, the letters stopped coming.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And both Pauline and Ruth received letters from Sybil saying Stan had died of a stroke.
And his genius has died with him.
So Pauline never thought to contact Sybil throughout any of this?
Yeah.
And say,
I guess
so
not.
how's the
Wouldn't-
weird place?
No,
So-
Sybil wasn't in the weird place.
I thought
remember?
she was.
No, she was
She-
living out
the-
in Vancouver happy
Oh, that
He
she
bought her a
was.
house.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
she
yeah.
didn't
And-
want to go to the,
Go to
weird,
the weird
world.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that mean, Stan told Pauline that Sybil, believed in the word world,
Yes.
just didn't want to go. Okay, so
Correct.
it would have been you're right, if she had called Sybil and Sybil says, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah, like,
about?
why didn't you want to go to the weird world?
It's like, yeah,
Can you
and
talk?
then-
Can you, I need someone to talk to about this. Like, that would have cleared up everything immediately.
Well, a few
Yeah.
mistresses call the woman of,
No, she's talking about Pauline.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Pauline.
I'm saying
Yeah, you're right.
Pauline.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
not Ruth.
Yeah.
Because
Good
as a
point. Good
child,
point.
like I told you, Pauline and Sybil had a great relationship. They
Yeah.
were,
Why didn't Pauline, why didn't you call
Well, for
Sybil
one thing,
and
she
ask
knew
her?
she couldn't talk about it over the phone because the phones were bugged.
Okay, again,
If she talked
you're
about it over the
sane,
phone, she'd
that's
be in
bullshit.
danger.
And you call Sybil and say, just by the way, your husband is telling my mom some crazy shit. Let me write it down and see if you have heard any of this stuff. And she says, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, Pauline became a health reporter. And so in the course of doing her job, she came across an article about something called delusional disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an incredibly rare disorder. It frequently has a late in life onset, and there's no outward symptoms. People who have it usually appear completely normal, but they have a fixed delusion. And they don't believe they're ill because they don't feel ill. They don't feel mentally ill either. There's no other symptoms, no other impacts on their life except for whatever this
delusion.
fixed delusion is. And the people who have it generally have a normal mental health examination, except for whatever their weird delusion
Yeah.
is. And the more intelligent a person is, the more complex and believable their delusion could be. So she talked to this Harvard medical school doctor or whatever, who talked about this delusion. And of course, he had never met Stan, but it sounded to him like Stan could have had delusional disorder. And he really believed it. And so his brain makes up this very complex delusion with lots of characters and, made up places and all that kind of stuff. So while it didn't help a whole lot, Pauline and Ted's view of Stan.
So they believe that Stan suffered from this ailment.
Well, I don't know what Ted believes, but Pauline does. And possible. She doesn't know with 100% certainty.
You have to admit it seems insanely convenient.
But it helps that there was no malice behind it, that he wasn't trying to manipulate her entire family.
Unless he was.
And he could have been. That's an incredibly elaborate thing to go through, to have a mistress.
Is your delusion so convenient it allows you to control a mistress for decades?
Yeah.
That seems coincidental.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the first thing that she thought, it was like folie à deux, which we've talked about before, where and that's a delusion also, right?
Yeah.
One person has a crazy notion and just, brings the
second person into the crazy notion. Yeah, it's basically a shared delusion.
Yeah, which I don't think so. Delusional disorder sounds more.
It could be.
Yeah.
I tend toward the prosaic because, as you said, this is insanely rare, and men manipulating women is insanely common. So
yes, but those manipulative men tend to have other abusive behaviors, and he literally didn't. He was kind and nice. And I mean, her book goes into more detail about the interactions that they had when she was a child. And he was wonderful. And, he was the buffer when in her difficult teen years with her mother, and he was a helpful, wonderful influence in her life growing up. And so it's hard to believe
that he was just like an evil guy.
I don't think so at all.
I do.
He's just that just makes him a smooth scammer. As long as she's believing it, Ruth, and she always did.
Yeah, Ruth
he
believed
doesn't have to be. He's not the type who manipulates through power plays. He's the type who manipulates through these elaborate stories that was able to control her because she was obviously suggestible.
Yeah, Ruth believed it until she died, and she died of cancer. I think
even after Stan died and everything, she never once thought the weird world wasn't real. And
no.
Jesus.
Now her only connection, Stan, was dead, so she'd never find a place of hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. She died in 2010, and when she was sick with cancer, she lived. Pauline had her come live with her in her house, and I guess that they finally talked about it, and her mother said, "Oh, how you must have hated me if you didn't believe any of this ever was true. You must hate me." And obviously she said, "No, I don't hate you, but I've been angry with you." But so
nuts, Mom, but
yeah.
But no, I don't
honestly,
hate you.
For me, the saddest part of the whole thing is it made them not have any relationship with their dad.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And he wanted to. So it wasn't like he just, they moved to Winnipeg, I guess I'll never see my kids again.
Yeah.
She didn't tell him where they were, when they just moved, and didn't tell the kid's father. And he did find them because Pauline sent him a letter. She wasn't supposed to. So she defied her mom. And one day he showed up at their house. And, her mom was probably like, "Oh my God, how did you get here?" Because, she thought he was a mobbed up, mafioso. And he was pretty abusive with her. Yeah. I don't think he was physically abusive, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Throwing a sword at her wasn't great.
Yeah.
And so he showed up and he wanted to see the kids. And the kids, understandably so, are freaked out by everything. I think it might have been her counselor, the wonderful counselor that I just praised a little while ago, who said it would be better for them not to see their
Really?
dad. Yeah. And I think it was, she thought that the strain of the divorce and everything was contributing to why Pauline was depressed and all that kind of stuff. So it would be better to get her stabilized. And so not to see the dad, not to have the, being pulled in all directions kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. So the dad reluctantly agreed because he thought it was in the best interest of his daughter's health. And so I think that's kind of sad.
That is
'cause
sad.
he wanted to see them.
See, he was a mobster with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
But he was a mobster.
But he was,
But he
really
was an
mobster.
alcoholic mobster.
Yes. He was-
Well, and because he said he had stopped drinking and,
Well, I can
So
see
anyway,
how it's
I think
easier
that's
for her, Pauline, to, forgive. And I mean, like you said, she loved
Stan.
and looked up to him like a surrogate father.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's easier to make someone like that a little more innocent by ascribing it to mental
Yeah.
illness, not to manipulation.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. But could you imagine?
No,
I
actually,
know.
yes.
I'm
I'm cooking up a story right now for these little bastards. I'll think of something.
We're not little
Real think of
bastards. I'm
something.
20. Your
Yeah.
youngest child is 20.
You're going to have to do it with your grandchildren
23
someday.
Yeah.
She was told by
Yeah,
her
but
mother.
she had
But
a
she was-
lifetime of weird
of weird
things.
things.
That's true. We
That this
blew it.
Yes,
explains.
when
So
I
you're
have-
saying we blew it. Is that,
When I have kids, you can do this.
Oh,
okay,
that's
cool.
good mothering
cool.
there.
That's cool.
Well, it's not going to be me. It'll just be they have really weird grandparents
Yeah.
that are probably spies.
Well, so anyway, her book is Run, Hide, Repeat by Pauline Dakin is her name, Dakin. And I read most of her book, but also I found this in an article from the BBC. And then there's also an article on The Guardian. And then I listened to a podcast called Betrayed. It's a Canadian Random House podcast or something like that.
Okay. Well, thank you for that sourcing here, that live sources that you.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
important.
Okay. That's it. The story of Weird World.
Very weird story.
Very weird
That
story.
is super weird.
Yeah. They stole our
I
name.
just think the mom was ill in some way, and I think possibly Stan was ill as well in
I
some
see,
way,
I
but
know. I
also
think
just
Stan
a
was
manipulative
just-
See,
guy.
the mom wasn't ill. She was just
Gullible.
vulnerable.
Yeah. Very vulnerable.
Yeah.
And gullible.
Yep.
And Stan was, so Stan's in a perfect position to take advantage of that. Because
Yeah.
remember, he was counseling her early on in
Yeah.
this, and he's got, hey, I've been thinking about writing a novel. Instead of doing that, why don't I just live it?
Yeah.
And see if I can get this woman to
Yikes.
A, sleep with me, which he did,
Of course.
and B, believe some bullshit so I can keep her under control and
Did
keep her
Stan
close to
and
me.
Sybil have children?
Yes. But Stan, I get the feeling that he was older because by the time he was in their lives, I think the kids were grown. I mean,
Oh.
they were older. Yeah. They
That
weren't
makes
around
sense.
like
I was going to say, like, did they grow up together? Or?
No. Yep. So that's it. Also, it may someday be a movie or a TV show. or
Really?
And
something.
I will
Yeah.
play Pauline, yes.
They'll hire only Canadian actors. I'm sorry.
No, they won't.
Canada has got a thing for that.
No,
yeah.
they don't.
They get some money.
No.
They hire Canadian people. Sorry about that.
Absolutely
It'll
not.
probably
I'll
be
just
Ryan
fucking
Reynolds
pretend. I have Canadian
and
heritage.
Rachel McAdams and
Part of my family is French Canadian, so that wise works.
That's true.
Well, thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome, Dean.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Good story.
Thanks.
Weird one. I like that. It's super obscure. I like those.
Yeah.
No one's really heard about that. I've never heard of it. Thanks.
Well, if Dean hasn't heard of it. Then.
Well, I'm just saying. All right.
Okay.
Please subscribe, rate, review. Carrie.
Weird World Podcast on all the things except for Twitter, which is Weird World Pod.
That I never do.
And weirdworldpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
All right. See ya.